Alright, g'day ladies and gentlemen. You've seen me fail this game, so now it's time to start a new series where I actually learn to play the game. So, the best way to do that, instead of starting like I normally would on the hardest difficulty, I'm going to start on the easiest difficulty. Because hopefully that should give me, well, not really the incentive, but more the ability to actually, successfully run this game. So let's start with level 1. Again, I'm going to continue to call it Dragon Fails Inc. My Chief Executive Officer is going to be Barkley. And I'm going to stick with the Trust Me, I'm a Doctor. And starting the game with 3 bonus executives. So let's start this game off, and alright, as you guys can see, we've got a lovely small starting area. That looks good to me. So let's have a look at what ingredients we have. So we have acid reflux medicine and warts medicine. Unfortunately, with the polymerized delicate extract, as you can see, the side effects are in the same range as what the cures are. So I think what we can start with is, let's start with acid reflux medication. We'll import through here. I thought I said to import. Okay. So let's start by importing there with, as you can see, we have the highest level concentration. We need to remove 1 level of concentration. But before we do that, let us go in and just have a look at our research tree. So we can see here we've got national headquarters as well as our delivery methods. But the first things that we should probably do is let's hire a single scientist and have him work on the ionizer. At the same time, we will now go and hire an explorer and have them explore for the spotted nipple wart. So it's a good starting point. So initial reports, ingredient was skin medication, and the following catalysts are present. So that's good to know. Alright, so if we go back to our production facility, what we need to do with this is reduce its strength by 1. So what we're going to do there, we're going to grab ourselves a dissolver, which, as says on the tin, will reduce the strength by 1. Now, the best way to place this is probably right there, because that is going to be the best place to put it. Alright, so that reduces the strength by 1. Then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to grab a couple of pill printers, just so that we can set up our output line. So coming out from here and across to there. So what that's going to do for us is it's going to turn around and create us a medication that calms acid reflux with no side effects, with an expected profit of 95. So that's exactly what we want to do to start. Currently though, we are losing
Product name required.
$100 a day. But that can be fixed in relatively short succession. So the recommended name is Dragon Reflux Soother. So let's go with Dragon's Old I like the idea of Dragon's Old There we go, Dragon's Old Reflux Relief. I like it. Let's give it that name. So with that, hopefully soon we will be able to start making a small amount of profit. Although, that being said, presently we are losing money. I think that's definitely a good start. And we have lovely, plentiful room in this building. So, what else do we actually have that is here? So, yes, coming back to this, currently these make a total profit of 94
A competitor has released a new product.
per unit. So, a competitor has also made something that calms the acid reflux. Let's have a look at the differences. So we have a C+, a sales rating of B, a daily production of 1. Presently they have a C, a daily sales of half, and their price is up at 165 where ours is up at 160. So we are undercutting them, which sounds like fun.
New ingredient
So we have
discovered.
our research complete for the ionizer, so it's probably worth us starting the agglomerator. So we have a new ingredient. The new ingredient can soothe a rash. However, it causes random fainting and dries the mouth. So what we could potentially do is obviously rearrange these around so that it can actually help us with the locations of these, because we could have something that calms acid reflux, soothes rash, and removes warts. But that's something that we would have to look into. So we've still got our Explorer. I think it might be a very good idea to turn around and have a look at what we got. So we've got something with a booster effect, which I think is not the best way to go. Let's have a look at the pain medication. Alright, so moving back to our production line. So I think what we might do is buy another area. Now it looks like we are slowly on the way to
A
earning
competitor has released a new
money
product.
that we need, and our competitor has a painkiller that causes fatigue. So we are starting to fall a little bit behind. However, we will catch up very shortly. So, let us take our... Yes, let's make a wart drug, even though it will cause increase in blood pressure. We need to remove 2 levels from this to have it work correctly. So the best place to import is probably going to be here. Grab our section of belt. Grab our basic dissolver. Now we could actually go through a single one of these, but as you can see, process cost of 10, meaning the total cost will be 20 versus a process cost of 35. Now both of them take the same amount of time. Also $1,200 bond cost versus $2,200. It's a very, very different game depending on Alright, and then once again we need our pill printers. So let's start from the back end. That should do it. So we pull in the saline extract. We then process it down. A pill a day keeps the doctor away. I do love the style of this game. It is absolutely fantastic. So you can see here now it will give me $89 profit at this stage. Processing through $89 profit. So we have Dragon's Wart Crusher. I like that. Dragon's Old Wart Crusher. Yep. So the only downside is it does increase the blood pressure, but unfortunately, so be it. So with any luck, that should start us on a positive growth pattern. So we're now earning $3. $6 a day, something along the lines of that. So our research is almost done with our Algomenta. So the next thing for us to do would be to obviously unlock one of these, or quite possibly some of this. But I think the best place to start would be by unlocking basic auxiliary. So to do that, we will definitely need an additional workman. I think what we might do is allow a couple days to pass just to build up some of those points. And we'll see what we do from here. So it is a lovely production line that we have going so far. Absolutely fantastic. So what we will do is we will continue to run today. So another option that we do have, we can expand and create another rash cream of some description. So there's this one, dry's mouth we cannot remove. And just in time we have our painkiller. Okay, so an accelerometer will let us remove the fatigue, and the painkiller will give us 126. So I think this is our next goal. So coming back to research, we have now, where is our accelerometer? Oh, augmenter. Okay, I see. So what we want to do, let us start processing this. So as you can see here, if we turn around and have a 0 to 5 pre-requirement and we put it through an augmenter, it will remove this side effect, meaning that we will have this in the range of 5 to 12, right? But we can actually, that's great, I like that. So first things first, let us buy the area that we need. I think we'll go for up here. Let us start importing the ingredients. I like coming through that top gate. So what we need now is to pass it through as it said, and augmenter. And then we need our pair of
Invalid position.
So, if we've done this correctly, yep, it's just a painkiller. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So we have a basic painkiller. We have something that calms acid reflux.
Product name required.
Alright, so let us... I love the auto-generated names. I just wish I could put the apostrophe S without having to backspace out of that, unfortunately, because it's just it's what it is. Unfortunately, the reality of it is that I can't. Alright, so currently we have a single point for this, so let us send our explorer off. We have a single point on here to use, so because we're using the dissolver so much, let us upgrade that. So what upgrading does here is it reduces the cost by $1 for us, which is absolutely fantastic because it means that it's cheaper to run, which means more profit. We have our 1 point here, so the question here is which do we want to get a 10% discount on? Judging by the profit cost, I would probably say that the that's a good question, actually. That is a very good question because 93, 95 and
a competitor has released
55.
a new product.
So I think because we're making the least in profit off of this, let's upgrade this one to give us a 10% discount. So that reduces the cost of 32 per day import cost. Alright, fantastic. So we're currently making $134 per day by the looks of it. Well on track to what we are after. So yes, as you can see here, the processing costs are quite high for this. It's $55 and they only sell for $146. We're making good profit off of these two, which are 93 and 95.
Research complete.
So we've now completed our basic auxiliary research. So what we can actually do now is we can pull out things like the multi-mixer, the shaker, or the analyzer. We can also advance processing, but I think that will come later. The best place for us to start really here would be, let's turn around and give them a day or two just to turn around and find a couple more of those points for us, or something along the lines of that. But in the meantime, what we'll do is we'll expand once again. So coming back to our ingredients list, we still don't quite have this moonfern ingredient ready to import. We do, however, have acid reflux. Let us have a look at what a migraine medicine. So we can actually upgrade this with an evaporator if we get it between 7 and 10. Now upgrading it will, so coming to the Cures tab. So we currently have a painkiller. Right, the painkiller. So with a 7 to 10 we can actually increase it to so as you can see here, we need to get between 7 and 10. So we are currently having it sit at 6, so we increase by 1 and then use an evaporator. Now the evaporator, as part of its process, the evaporator reduces by 1. So if we go, let's create another set of this. So first things first, we will import these. We will then go through our
New World event.
So there's a new world event. An insidious disease has gripped the nation and it's called yoga. Yep, so this is going to be helpful for us because it's not going to be helpful for us because it's going to reduce the effectiveness of our migraine medication. So that is unfortunate because it takes what we were planning on doing and essentially throws it out the window. Let us have a look at the other cures that we potentially have. So stomach ulcers, we have the ability to make a female contraceptive, although that is quite a big
New
jump to
ingredient
get
discovered.
to. We have the ability to prevent acne from a soothes rash. So we have a non-greasy. How very interesting. So we can actually make something that is non-greasy. So what its effect does is it, as it says, 30% sales. Okay, so if we've got something that cure from the skin family, so you can see in here, there's our skin family. So soothes rash or prevents acne. So if we've got prevents acne and we make it non-greasy, that will give us a 30% sales bonus. Very handy to know. So, however, we've got removes wart. So removes wart. If we have that removes wart and we increase, okay, so soothes rash is what we want. Soothes rash and run it through and is evaporator when it's between 10 and 12. So 10, 11 or 12. Now we've got the here, soothes rash. 10, 11 and 12 is the catalyst. So it's currently on 13. So what we need to do is we need to lower by 1 and then run it through an evaporator. Now the evaporator, I believe, again, I do have to double check a lot of this because it's, so the evaporator does increase by 1. So we're going to remove by 1, increase by 1, and then we need to, once we have upgraded it, so once we have upgraded it, then we're going to need to run it all the way down to this range, as you can see. So let us give that a go and begin doing that. So if we come back to our production, grab our ingredients to begin with. So we want this particular ingredient, so let's import Oh, that's very unfortunate. Once we've imported something, for whatever reason... there we go. So let us stop this. We're going to keep that because it's not worth selling, unfortunately. So let us grab our import of this. We'll grab our... So what we want to do first off, as I was saying before, we want to decrease by 1. So first things first, we will run that through our dissolver. So our dissolver will decrease it by 1. Then what we want to do is we run it through an evaporator, as it said. So we move the dissolver across to the evaporator. And then having a look what we pull out of there. So you can see here we've got it now at a 12. And now we've got prevents acne. So what we want to do now is we want to decrease by 3, 4, 5. We want to decrease by 5. Now what we should be doing though is decreasing to 12. Oh no, we're in that range. So if we could pass it now through an ionizer. So the ionizer, which decreases by 3. So what the ionizer will do is the ionizer should remove that particular side effect, according to this. So let's have a look at that. Excellent. So we've got something with a dry mouth. So if we've got something that is in that second, removes warts, needs to be 11 to 16, 3 to 8. Unfortunately, that one doesn't work. Let us just have a quick look at our ingredients and see if there's anything in that particular range that we could use. Painkillers. So I would say having dry mouth is probably perfectly reasonable. All that it does is it just changes our thing. So we need to decrease it by 2. So the best way to do that will be to run it through a couple of dissolvers. Trying to fit these in is always entertaining, especially when you are leaving yourself such limited room. The best solution actually probably is just to run like that. So if I've done this correctly, now that should actually boil down, and unfortunately it's going to be active drying mouth, but that is perfectly fine. Then what we will need is alright, we've got 6 of these, so let's start by creating our national headquarters. We're going to upgrade that a couple times. We're going to upgrade all of these so that we get discounts across the board for what we're running. This reduces from 32 to 29, which is very, very good for us. So we want the national headquarters so that we can start looking into the desert expeditions. And we have some more upgrading that we can do here. So the best ways to do that would be let's start putting in upgrades somewhat across the board. We've got to wait for the desert expeditions. A desert goldenrod. Fantastic. Coming back to our research, we still have one more point that we can potentially spend, but unfortunately not much we can upgrade with that single point. So what we're going to do now is come back out to our production and just finish off with our couple of pill printers.
Invalid position.
Running into
Invalid position.
the two pill printers. So you can see here it prevents acne.
A competitor has released a new product.
And we have our competitor releasing a female
Product name
contraceptive.
required.
So, sticking with the naming convention that we've been going for our drugs. Dragon's Old Pimples. Absolutely fantastic. So you can see here we seem to be making profit right across the board, which is absolutely fantastic. So we've still got our one. Now we could actually hire an additional. Let's hire an additional one and grab our multi-mixer. What the multi-mixer allows us to do is to mix multiple drugs together to form a new and stronger drug. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's around the 20-minute mark, which is how long I want my videos to be at this time. Looking at our last piece of research that we just received, it is a good time for us to end the video. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, ladies and gentlemen. Just taking a nice look at the overview of our facility. As you can see, we seem to be doing quite reasonably well. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I say to you today goodbye and thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed and hope to see you next time. Good.